Welcome to the Wyoming Women's Business Center 2020 webinar series. Today's presentation is called How to Pick a Website Platform, brought to you by Amanda Jeffers. I'm Jonathan Howdyshaw with the Women's Business Center, or with the Wyoming Women's Business Center, and I'll be your host today. You'll notice the GoToWebinar control panel on the right side of your screen. I want to call attention to the questions panel. If you have questions, please use this panel to communicate with us during this presentation. My colleague Teresa is on the line today, and she's going to help collect questions during the presentation, and we will do our best to answer them or reach out to you afterwards. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com and type in Wyoming Women's Business Center. Make sure you subscribe and check out our other webinars. You can also visit our website at www.wyomingwomen.org or look for us on Facebook and Instagram. Immediately following this presentation, a survey will launch. Please complete the survey, as this provides us and our funding partners with valuable information. All participants are muted to minimize background noise. So once again, if you have any questions, please type them into the questions panel. We're going to get started with some quick information about the Wyoming Women's Business Center, and then we'll dive into our topic today and finish up with Q&A at the end. The WWBC is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to enable and empower Wyoming entrepreneurs with a special emphasis on women who are economically or socially disadvantaged. We do that through three distinct programs. The first is our business counseling and training program, which is always at no cost to you. The second is our microfinance program, which offers microloans and individual development accounts. And our third is the Artist Development Program we run in conjunction with our Works of Wyoming store and Art Connect gallery in Laramie. This webinar is brought to you by the Office of Women's Business Ownership Program, and I want to call special attention to our microloan program. We can provide loans for those unable to get loans through traditional means up to $50,000. If you'd like more information, you can contact our microloan department director, Waldo Smith. This is me. I'm a business counselor with the Wyoming Women's Business Center. I've been working with Wyoming businesses for over 10 years. I'm a business owner myself, and I've been helping clients launch, improve, or expand their businesses for many years. So now, on to our presentation.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. So my name is Amanda Jeffers, and I'm a graphic and web designer here in Laramie, Wyoming. I own my own freelance business, Jeffers Design. And the topic today is choosing the right website platform for your business. So just to kick it off, this presentation is geared towards people who don't have a website, or they do have a website, but maybe they're frustrated with it and they're kind of looking to change platforms, or just trying to get some information about what the different platforms are available, or what platforms are available out there. So you've probably seen a lot of ads like I have for Squarespace and Wix, and they all claim to be great, but it's different for everybody. And really the thing is you need to figure out what's right for you and your business, because that's really going to be the ultimate decision maker for which platform you go with. All right, so just to kick it off, I want to start with 6 things that you should do before you even get started, because every platform has different options, and this is really something that you need to dive into before you even pick a platform. And I encourage you to write these down and really get a solid foundation before you even get started. So the first thing that you want to do is establish the aim of your site. So, what is your business trying to do? What are you trying to do with your website? Are you trying to get people to just fill out the contact form? Are you trying to get people to shop online, buy your products? These are all things that you need to figure out before you pick any platform or even start a website. And this really helps, if you have a clear focus, it really helps outline your website to the point where your visitors are gonna get the same sense of clarity. Because if you don't really know what you're doing and you throw up a bunch of stuff, it's gonna resonate with your visitors who show up and go, ugh, I don't know what's going on here. So really having a clear focus is really important. So write down what your main goals are and get a real idea before you get started. The next thing is research, research, and research. So I like, the saying, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. There's billions of websites out there, and a lot of them are very successful. So in your field, whatever your business is, go out there, do some research, look at other websites, look at the ones that are hitting the top spots on Google, go through them, go through the pages, see what you like, see what you don't like, and start getting ideas, because there's no point in, it will be unique to you. You're not copying someone else's website. You're just trying to get an idea of what's working for them, and then you tailor it to what you can offer and put your own spin on it. So definitely do some research. I'd say pick at least 2 or 3 websites that you really like, and it'll help you get started, and it'll help you kind of have a visual of where you want to go. Know your target market. Hopefully, as business owners, you already have a sense of this, but it never hurts to really focus on that. And then that's really gonna come back into your website. So you really wanna tailor your website to your target market, and that's gonna go through your theme and the design and the content. So if your business is like a financial advisor and you're setting up a website for that, it's gonna be really weird if you're using, Comic Sans and really bright, bubbly colors. You're hoping people trust you with their money. So you're really going to want to have it be very clean, very professional. But then if, you're doing a home daycare or something, that's obviously going to have a very different look. So you definitely want to figure out your target market. It's not about what you like. You don't want to be like, oh, well, I just like the color blue. Have a reason. You really want to have a reason, and it should revolve around your target market. All right, so next you want to choose your domain name wisely. Ultimately you would hope it be your business name, so www.yourbusiness.com. So that's not always possible because there's billions of websites and lots of them are taken. So that's when you have to start to get maybe a little creative and think about how you can tailor it. In Wyoming, a lot of people like to put 307 in their domain name to offset it, which if your target market is only in Wyoming, you can get away with that because everybody in Wyoming pretty much knows what 307 means. But if you're outside of the Wyoming scope, then think wisely about that, because when people hear numbers, they kind of wonder if it's the number itself or if they have to type out the number. So think about that, and then also think of, don't use dashes. Dashes make it kind of hard. So some people just throw in a dash, and that's not what you want to do. And do everything you can to get that .com at the end. .org is for organizations. So if you're a nonprofit, that might make sense, but otherwise stay away from .org and don't use .net, because no website has ever been very successful has ever had .net. So, but think about your domain name, and if you have to throw in a WY at the end for Wyoming, that could be a simple solution because you want to keep it short and keep it memorable. All right, next is getting your images ready. A lot of websites, or I should say a lot of users nowadays are very visual creatures. We really want bright, beautiful pictures. Videos are even better. Just eye-catching material, because it's such an instant gratification world these days. We want to see it and move on. So it's really important to get really good imagery. And the best thing I can say is if you can take your own photos, that would be the most ideal situation, because that's going to be 100% yours, and it's going to be very tailored to you and your business, which is a huge impact when it comes to your website. Stock photos are definitely available, and there's beautiful stock photos out there. There are some free royalty ones. Pixabay is a really good one that you can look into. Otherwise, there's paid for subscriptions. Just be very wary about ever taking anything off of Google, because most of that is copyright. So get that in mind. And it's really good to just have a good archive of images, because that is a very time-consuming piece when it comes to websites. And you don't want to just throw up anything. You really want to be mindful of what's going to be eye-catching and what's going to be consistent with your business. All right, and then have a brand concept and a logo. Again, as business owners, maybe you already have a logo, maybe you don't. Logos are just, you know, they don't, they're just like a visual that comes to mind when someone hears your business name. So if someone says your business, it should be a simple graphic that just pops into their brain, and it just helps with brand recognition. Simple is better when it comes to the logo, because again, for people to bring it to mind, simple is better. And then, you know, your brand concept is, that basically means why is it the way it is. For instance, my logo could technically be a J. It could also technically be a D because it's Jeffers design, but I have it where it's almost like a circle that's not complete. And the reason it's not complete is because your marketing is never complete. Your website is never done. You never stop marketing yourself. So the circle never ends. So it's kind of a concept that I put behind my logo that resonates with my business. So if you already have a logo, that's great. If you don't, or if you're looking for a brand redesign, maybe now's the time to really think, what is it about your business that sets you apart, and how can you put that into your brand concept? So, and it gives you a nice start, like it gives you an idea, like, okay, this is what I want my business to be about, so then I want my marketing to be about that, and then it just gives you a nice starting point to really go forward with everything in your marketing field from that point on. So those are 6 things to do even before you get started with the website platform. And then now we're going to go over 5 platforms that are technically the top ones as of today. They're the most common, I would say, or they all kind of have different perks. So we're going to go over the pros and cons of each one. I also have a small video with each platform. That way you can kind of get a sense of the back end, because some people, you know, it says it's easy, but then you get in the back end and it just looks way out of your league. So we're definitely gonna just short videos that, you know, I got from YouTube, so that way you can just have an idea. And then I'll talk a little bit about price too, so you get an idea of what the cost is with each one. All right, so we're gonna start with Wix. Wix is the #1 as of today. It's best overall because of its ease of use and versatility. So some of the pros and cons, the usability has a drag and drop interface, which most of them do, but and menus are clearly labeled, and the platform feels pretty intuitive. So that's usability with Wix is pretty solid. I will say that it's not the easiest, but it's obviously not the most complicated either. They have, for design, hundreds of templates to choose from. So if you're someone who likes lots of options, Wix is definitely a good starting point, because they just have so many templates to pick from. And then, but other people might find that overwhelming. So, and they're all really good templates. Not all of them, but most of them are really good templates to start with. It has lots of customization options. You can add a whole bunch of apps. Granted, you have to keep in mind that a lot of the apps come with a cost, so it's not always free. And then, you know, you can add lots of customizations, which is good if you need a high functioning site. So if you have a lot of tools that you need to integrate with your site versus maybe someone who just needs a quick landing page showing, hey, this is what my business is, this is what we're about. So there's lots of differences there with customization. And then it does have more negative reviews. Of course, with more people using it, it probably just has a higher negative review rate. I encourage you to look at the reviews of all these platforms, because those are reviews of people who have actually used it, and they might resonate with you a little bit. So definitely check out the reviews. The customer support is not 24/7. You can always send an email to them, but they're not always going to answer 24/7, which for some people it doesn't matter. For other people who might have an e-commerce store, that could be a really big deal breaker, because if your store goes down at any point in time, that's always a problem and needs to be dealt with immediately. So customer support's one thing that you might want to look into. And then the price and the function, you know, it's a reasonable price. It's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive. And then that does offer a lot of functionality, but it doesn't have the most. So if you're looking for a really high functioning site, this might not be the best platform to pick from. So that's Wix, and now I'll play a live preview so you can see a little bit of the back end.
This is our live company website, tooltester.net, where we present our team and projects. We were looking for a site builder that didn't require any technical skills and that we could easily update ourselves. So we gave Wix a try and compared it to a few competitors. To edit something, we just click on the element. Wix suggests several options. Here, for example, we can edit the text, change the typeface, or resize it. If you are not happy with the look, click here on Undo. A great thing about Wix is that you can easily add animations. Remember the Batman transition? You could add a similar effect with only one click. Here are some examples. But please don't overdo it. How about adding a gallery or simply a button? We click on the Add section and choose from their elements. Here we can see our custom button. That's pretty handy because we don't have to recreate it every time from scratch or copy and paste it from another page. As mentioned earlier, you can also add a blog or online store. But since we don't need it here, let's skip this. If you want to know more about Wix e-commerce, we suggest you check our dedicated online store review. You'll find a link in the description. What makes Wix even more versatile is their integrated app market. Since not every website requires the same features, you can just add what you really need, and there are hundreds of interesting apps. For instance, we could integrate a live chat function in our website to provide personal support, or a booking feature that enables our website visitors to schedule a consultation with us. Wix websites aren't meant for bigger projects. The navigation depth would be too limited since you can only have 2 levels, as you see here. So if you're planning on creating the next Wikipedia, you should reconsider your options. So far, we've only seen the desktop version. Let's switch to the mobile view. You see a preview of how the website looks on mobile phones. In this example, we've already arranged the elements a little. Sometimes you might think that a spacing is not correct or a font size too big. Here you can optimize the look. For many users, being found on Google is crucial. If you are an
Okay, I'll go over SEO at the end a little bit for most of this, but so that was just kind of a sense of the back end. Again, you know, stuff is on the left and it's drag and drop, and there's obviously a lot more to it in the back end, but one great thing about all these platforms, just as a side note, is you can set up a free account, and then once you've set up the free account, you can go in and play with it, and if you end up liking it or feel like it's for you, you can go ahead and upgrade. So that's an option with all of these. So the pricing for the business plan, see, is $27 a month. Business Unlimited is probably the best you'll want, or what you would want to use, unless you obviously have a lot of or a much bigger site that you need to create. But it comes with submit payments online. So if you do want to do e-commerce online, you can submit payments, and then free SSL certificate. So that's your security certificate that is mandatory. You get your custom domain name, you don't get ads on your website, and you have increased storage. So you can see the pricing there. You'll see that, again, it's not the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest either. All right, so next one we're going to go over is Squarespace, and it says it's best value for small e-commerce. It really gears itself towards photography and art, musicians, you know, those people who in the creative space. So the usability, it also has a drag and drop interface, and it is one of the easier websites, but not the easiest. It does take a little bit more intuition in the back end for Squarespace, a lot more clicking to get where you need to go. The design is beautiful. It only comes with 28 themes, so it doesn't have a ton of themes to choose from, but all 28 themes are really good. So they're really beautiful. And then they have a modern, clean feel and really set you up well for visual elements. Customization, still really good customization that you can do. Pretty much you throw the theme in, can do like what Wix did. You can change things up how you want. And then, like I said, there's a little bit more of a learning curve with this one. It's not the easiest interface, but if you are pretty intuitive with it, then you might be able to figure it out just fine. So SEO, this says that it's not the easiest or the best SEO tools on the back end. I'm going to touch on SEO a little bit at the end. That's a whole nother topic in and of itself, but I'll talk a little bit more about that as far as these platforms are concerned. But and then price and function. Prices are a little bit more reasonable with this one. It's a little cheaper than Wix, and the functionality may be more difficult to incorporate, but it still can do it. You just have to figure out how to get it done. So let's go ahead and look at a live preview for Squarespace.
I'm happy to be able to present Squarespace on a live website. CoolPhotoIdeas.com is a blog that showcases photo gifts and innovative photography techniques. We're now logged in, and we're able to change the site's content by selecting an area and clicking Edit. To change text, simply click it and start typing. Much more intuitive when compared to the previous version. Anytime one of these gray bubbles appear, you can add new blocks of content. You have a wide choice of elements: image galleries, video and audio, contact forms, store products, as well as social media blocks. To see a preview of your work, all you have to do is click the little arrow in the corner. Now we take a closer look at the settings. In Pages, you can arrange your website's navigation. You can see here that we have only got 2 levels, which isn't really a lot. Most other website builders allow you to have deeper websites. After clicking on the gear icon, you can now configure each page. Importantly, this lets you set SEO settings like page title and meta description, and you can also fully customize the page's URL, which is great. One of Squarespace's most noteworthy features is, of course, their templates. I think you'll agree that these look very stylish. It's important to note, though, that these templates are brought to life with outstanding professional photography. So when you replace photos with your own artwork, do make sure that you add high-quality images as well. For that, you can use Squarespace's special deal with Getty Images, where you can purchase images for a fixed price of $10 a piece. Let's now preview the peak design. Squarespace scores bonus points for only having fully responsive themes which display themselves perfectly on mobile devices. The editor here presents this quite elegantly. Let's stay on the subject of your website's look for a moment and check out the Style menu. You can configure the individual elements of your site just by clicking on them. This includes site-wide fonts and colors, as well as the positioning of elements such as your logo. All in all, it allows for a lot of customization, although it doesn't give you direct access to the template's code.
Okay, so that was just a quick background of what Squarespace looks like. So it's a little bit more clicking, and you might want to need a little bit more knowledge in the back end for where you want to go to design or change the design of certain elements. As for pricing, the business plan is $18 a month. There are some really good things about Squarespace. Again, if you're maybe a videographer or an artist, one thing, so they also come with SSL certificates, but the unlimited storage, that's really big, considering if you're going to be uploading lots of photos or videos, you might need unlimited storage. So websites do cap out after a certain time. You do have 24/7 customer support with Squarespace, and then there's e-commerce perks and professional email. So professional email is another bonus, I would say, and even if you don't go with Squarespace, I would definitely look into professional email, because it just adds an extra level of credibility to your business. So that's, if you have a website that is yourbusiness.com, it'll have your email be like, mine's Amanda@jeffersdesign.com. So that gives you just a little bit more of a professional look when it comes to even just your email. So that's Squarespace. And next we're going to go into Weebly. It's best for brick and mortar websites. Basically, that means if you just need an easy landing website where you just want people to know you're out there, your business information, a little bit about you. Those are the types of things that, Weebly is a really easy platform. In my experience, I feel like Weebly is the easiest one to figure out and navigate. It doesn't come with the best functionality, but if you're looking for something real simple, Weebly is definitely an option if you're maybe a little bit more technologically inclined for something more simple. So usability, it's like I said, it's really clean, it's well labeled, it has an easy dashboard, it's really easy to drag and drop. Design, the templates look good. It's not probably as great with the artistic side as maybe Squarespace's, but it definitely still has really nice templates to choose from. Again, the customization, it's easy to do any changes with the drag and drop builder. It also comes with plugins and different apps that you can incorporate, also some free, some with a price. So, I'd say it has similar customization options as the others. And then for e-commerce, that's one thing where it can do e-commerce, but you need to purchase the e-commerce plan, which is much more expensive. So, everything comes with a cost, but if you're looking for a store, Weebly might not be the best or cheapest option in that regard. This says that it has an outdated blog. That basically means the design is a little bit outdated. It might look a little bit more old, or you can't have it changed. So if you're looking to have a really strong blog, it might not be great, but it does have a lot of functions with the blog. So, really just depends on what you want it to look like. And then it is the most cost effective, so that's nice. And it's just an overall good platform for somebody who maybe is not the greatest technology wise, doesn't really know how to start a website, and maybe is on a budget. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back end of Weebly.
After logging into Weebly, you'll see your dashboard. Here, you can access all of your sites and also see the latest visitor stats. Thankfully, Celine of BarcelonaMuseum.com has given us permission to check out her live website. On the left-hand side, the editor shows all the elements you can add to your site. There's the text element, an image element, a slideshow gallery, and also a site search feature, just to name a few. If you want to edit existing content on your site, just click the element and start typing. It couldn't be more intuitive. If you're planning to publish regular news, you'll love Weebly's blogging tool. From the website builders we've reviewed so far, it's one of the most feature-rich blogs. A recent addition is the App Center. Through it, you can add external features to your Weebly site. There are hundreds of apps that you can use to enhance your website by adding extra functionality. Celine has already added a few to her site, and you can find them here. To add an accordion menu to the page, for example, I simply drag and drop the element onto the page. This can be used as an expandable FAQ section. But now, let's leave Celine's website and create a site using one of Weebly's new themes that came with version 4. Let's imagine we want to create a photography portfolio. After giving it a name, you can select a theme. Keep in mind that there are different theme options for the various website types. I think this one looks pretty good. It's worth noting that you're not stuck with your theme. If sometime down the road you'd like to try out another one, you simply switch to a new one. A great new feature is video backgrounds. To add one, you click the big image and edit the background. You can either upload your own video or use one from Weebly's gallery. Pretty cool, huh? All themes are now fully responsive. Just resize your browser window to check it out. The website adapts dynamically to all screen sizes. Let's take a look at its SEO capabilities.
Okay, so that was the back end for Weebly, and you could kind of see on the side, everything was right there. You could just pull it on over, and it was pretty easy to edit. So you'll definitely, for this one, want to go with the professional plan if you're going to use it. They do have the personal, but that still has ads on it. And if you're going to have a business website, you absolutely want to make sure that you do not have ads showing up on your site. So anyway, it also comes with that SSL certificate. That Weebly also comes with unlimited storage with the professional plan, which is, again, really great if you're looking for video or lots of photos. And then, like I said, no ads. So $12 a month, it is one of the cheaper ones that you can go with. And yeah, so Weebly is definitely more budget friendly if that's what you're looking for. Okay, GoDaddy. GoDaddy is, I have not personally used the website builder, and but it is currently in the top 5, and it's best for fast setup. So basically, if you are incredibly in technology or struggle with technology and you really want something that you can just throw up in an hour, GoDaddy might be the right platform for you, but it's definitely got some limitations to it. So it can't get much easier because you just throw things in and they are what they are. They don't really change. So it's not like the elements look bad, but there's just not much customization you can do to the elements. They only have 20 themes to choose from, and not all of them are all that great. So, you know, you might have 10 good ones in there, and they're all pretty similar. So if you're looking for a lot of options, GoDaddy wouldn't be the best plan. And then it's the most limited customization options, which again, for somebody who gets overwhelmed or doesn't want to have to deal with thinking about changing a bunch of design elements, maybe that speaks to you. So they basically take care of it all for you. The SEO is not the greatest. It says it's pretty mediocre for boosting your site, but like I said, I'm going to touch on SEO a little bit at the end because basically none of these platforms are going to just make you pop up on Google. So we'll go over that a little bit. And then customer reviews, lots of mix of good and bad. Of course, people probably are frustrated because there's lots of limitations. So that's why you want to do your research and really know if that's right for you. It is, again, one of the more cost-effective options, a little cheaper. And again, you can set up a site, they say, in less than an hour. So if you need a site right now, less than an hour, and you don't want to deal with any technology, then GoDaddy might be the platform for you. So we'll take a look at the video here so you can see what it looks like in the background.
GoDaddy websites are made of sections. Sections are content blocks that you stack vertically on your GoDaddy website. Editing sections is simple and clear. Just click a section in the website preview pane, and the right side drawer reveals customization options for it. It's handy. There are about 50 sections you can add to your website. This includes standard sections like photo galleries or text blocks, as well as a few more unusual sections like calendars that pull dates from a Google Calendar, or MLX searches for real estate agents. There is an email subscription section, but it doesn't integrate with newsletter providers like MailChimp or Constant Contact. Unfortunately, sections are frustratingly cookie cutter. There are very few customization options. For example, you can remove individual elements within the section, but you can't add additional elements. You're stuck with whatever GoDaddy has included. So want to add an extra image to this section? You can't. Want to add another paragraph? Nope. You're limited to whatever the section gives you. There are 20 themes you can choose from with GoDaddy, which is an improvement. Last year, they only had 8. Unfortunately, there's very little variation between themes. They all have roughly the same layout. Differences are mostly cosmetic. The same underlying structure with a different style. They also have no variation between their body fonts. Every theme uses Open Sans for the body font. That's kind of crazy. And while you have the option to choose the header font, there is no option to choose a different body font. You have the option of choosing one accent color, which is used throughout your website theme. Unfortunately, you have no control over where this color is applied. You're stuck with whatever GoDaddy has decided for you. So remember GoDaddy's slogan, build a website in less than an hour? You can start to see how GoDaddy reflects this slogan through the lack of theme customization options. The editor is designed for building a website in an hour, but not for anything beyond that.
Okay, so that was the back end of GoDaddy. So you can see again, he kind of had a little bit more of a negative view of it. And really, as far as a website builder and me being biased as a website designer, I would never use something like GoDaddy. But realistically, if you're a business owner and if art is your thing, but website and anything computers is not your thing, and you don't have the budget to hire a web designer, it might be what you need. So keep that in mind. For pricing, the standard is $15 a month, and basic is 10, but then you don't get the SEO tools, which SEO is important, so you might want to bump it up to the 15 a month. Again, you get the SSL certificate. GoDaddy does throw in business email and a phone for 1 year only, but after that you have to start paying for it, which is a different cost. And they also have their 24/7 support. So anyway, GoDaddy is I would say a more new platform that is available out there, and they're really focusing on ease of use. Okay, WordPress. Most people have probably heard about WordPress. It's best for complete control. It powers more than half the web currently, so a lot of people use WordPress. And I'm going to talk about WordPresscom. That's the one that you can easily set up yourself and build yourself. There's also WordPress.org, which I'm going to touch on that after this. And it shows a little bit of the difference in the live preview that I'll show. But so this is for WordPress.com. The usability, it's unfortunately not super intuitive. It's not a drag and drop builder. They use a builder called Blocks, but if you have a higher plan, you can add a plugin, and that will add a drag and drop builder to your backend. So there is an option for drag and drop. You just have to know how to get there. On the bright side, the WordPress designs can be absolutely stunning because there's, the sky's the limit for the design that you can do. However, such broad options can also lead to terrible design. So, because if you are unfamiliar with it and too much can happen, and then, it can lead to poor design. So keep that in mind. And then for customization, this is where people can get in and do anything they want, including editing the code. So, if I'm working with a client and they tell me they like this, but they want something different, I can actually go in and change the code to actually fit their needs. So that's a little bit of a difference. I mean, I know that's extreme, but it just depends on what your business needs. SEO, you want a top tier plan to be able to really integrate strong SEO, and it's more of a manual setup with your SEO optimization, but it really is powerful if you can get to that point. So a lot of options there. And then a downside is the learning curve. It might seem really hard to understand or create a beautiful website because it's not as easy as just dropping a theme in and making some customizations. So there's still billions of themes to pick from, but it's just a little bit more hard getting them set up. Price, it's a little bit higher for the business plan, but it's not like out of this world higher. And its functionality is limitless, so it really depends. Like if you need something really complicated with your website, then WordPress might be what you want to look into. So let's go ahead and look at the backend for WordPress.com.
Hi, and welcome to our WordPress.com review. Before we start, I want to give you a short explanation because WordPress.com is not the same as WordPress.org. Each is run quite differently. First, the host it yourself option, you go to WordPress.org, download it, and install it on your hosting provider. Or the second option, skip all the technical hassles and start creating a WordPress website at WordPress.com. If you want to learn more about the differences, just click on the link in the corner. In this video, we focus only on WordPress.com, the easiest way for beginners. At WordPress.com, you can start with a free website in order to learn the basics. Its premium plans are billed yearly and will unlock additional features, but more about this later. A free domain is included, but this will rise to about $18 a year after the first year. You can upgrade your free website to another plan, without losing your content at any time. Once you've signed up, you'll be sent to the reader? Don't get confused. It's basically a blog post collection of other WordPress.com websites. It's a pity they don't make this more intuitive. So to edit your website, you actually have to click the My Site button. First, let's have a look at the available themes. There's a decent selection available in the free plan. If you don't find a theme that you like, you'll have to upgrade to a paid plan. In doing so, additional premium themes will be unlocked, and you'll be able to upload themes from external marketplaces. Let's edit some content now. One important thing to know about WordPress is that it separates the content from the design. Therefore, it's also called a content management system. The back end feels very simplified, as you don't immediately see how the website actually looks to visitors. To view the result, click on the preview button. If you prefer a more visual point-and-click experience, we suggest you check out Wix or Weebly instead. In this case, the entire structure is based on blocks. Here are some examples of what you can add: text, pictures, videos, and so on. There are even some basic layout elements to better structure your content. Overall, editing content is quite self-explanatory. Even though WordPress started as a simple blogging platform, it's also possible to monetize your website. Its paid plans can handle simple and recurring payments. And if you need a fully fledged online store with inventory, you can start selling both products and services with the e-commerce plan. It adds a WooCommerce store to your website, and with it, features like real-time shipping carriers and credit card payments. To learn more about WooCommerce, check out the link in the video description.
Okay, so that was just a little bit of a touch point on the back end of WordPress, but yeah, it definitely is not as intuitive as the other drag and drop systems. So, but on this, you'll definitely want to go with the business plan. Premium for $8, just not quite where you want to be. So, and then again, if you want a full-fledged store, the e-commerce is your best option. Again, the SSL certificate comes with it, and then you get 200 gigabytes of storage. So it's not unlimited like some of those other platforms, but it definitely gives you a lot of storage. And then stronger SEO tools. So that's WordPress.com, and I'm going to go over a little bit about the traditional way for setting up a website. Normally, what you do before all these do-it-yourself platforms showed up is you would choose a web hosting provider. So GoDaddy is probably the most recognizable. That's a hosting provider. I use SiteGround. There's things like HostGator and Bluehost. There's a lot of them. And basically what happens is you purchase your domain and then you own it. And then all you have to do is say, okay, now I want to use WordPress to actually design it. Some definitely pros and cons with this. One cons is it's confusing, and if you don't know how to do it, you're going to have to hire someone to do it, and that can be, not in a lot of businesses' budget. So, but on the bright side, it's cheaper month-to-month cost. As you can see, the Grow Big plan is $5.95 a month, and you get unlimited websites with that, and lots of other stuff that comes with it. And then, or if you just have one website, the $3.95 a month. However, if you need to hire someone to get all this set up and build your website, there's a cost there. So obviously you have to kind of think about that. But one thing I would like to point out is with the domain name, on those other platforms like Wix and Weebly and Squarespace, it's almost like you're renting your domain name. You don't actually own it. It's available. They put it on their host, but they technically own it. You're just renting it. So if there ever came a time where you wanted to move your site or change things up, you basically will lose everything. You'll lose your site, you'll lose your domain name, and then you'll have to repurchase it somewhere else. So you would have to go through and manually copy and paste everything and take screenshots of every page so that you have a reference point if you wanted to move it. Versus if you had a hosting company and you purchased the domain through a hosting company, you actually own that domain name and it's yours, and you can download your website if you need it. Yeah, so there is a difference there. So keep that in mind. As a web designer, this is the way I've always done it, but that's, like I said, it really just depends on your business and what you're comfortable with, what you need, where your budget's at. And so this is just a good lesson for what options are available for you. But this is what uses WordPress.org, and that's the difference there. Okay, I'm gonna end today with some best practices for when you're doing not just website building, but also just marketing in general. So, you want to keep your branding consistent. That's your brand is not just your logo. Like your logo is the image, but your look, your design, and your concept should be flowing through everything. So business cards, stationery, the way you even lay out your office, all of that leads to your brand and your brand story. And so it's definitely important to keep everything consistent, keep your domain name consistent with everything, like I said, with that business email. So doing all that just adds a lot of professionalism to your marketing and your business. Clear call to actions. So this is for your website. If you have, when you're doing your evaluation of what your site is going to have and what you need on your site, think about what you want people to do. When users come to your site, we're such a fast-paced world right now. They come, they go so quickly. So you need to figure out what do you want them to do and have that action item right away. Some people might come and say, oh, I'm not ready, but I'm interested. So then they start clicking to the next page, like maybe the About page, to learn more about you. And then your call to action is there too, because they've learned a little bit more, maybe now they want to do it. So you definitely want to think about having, if you're like, contact us, make sure you have that contact really easy for them to access all the time. Or if you want them to buy something, make sure you have like your best deals up front, that kind of a thing, or your best selling items. So yeah, make sure you figure out what your calls to action are going to be and implement them throughout the site. Intuitive navigation. A lot of times people really want to get creative with their website, but you really want to keep it really simple. Keep it very intuitive, because if people come to your website and they don't know where to go, they're going to leave because it's just too confusing. It shouldn't be a treasure hunt. It should just be clean and simple, so that they understand where they need to be, where they understand what information is going to be where. So really kind of keep the navigation really intuitive. Mobile first design. Luckily with all of these platforms, they are already set up to be mobile friendly, which is really important. For people who don't know what responsive means, it just means that it readjusts itself to your cell phone to be optimal for viewing and easy to read. Whereas back in the day when you would look on your cell phone, you'd see a tiny little website that looks like on your desktop. It would be on your phone, it would be really small, and you'd have to scroll in to be able to see anything. So luckily, most of these, like I said, all these platforms already readjust itself for mobile first, which is a really important thing. And it also helps your SEO to be mobile first. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about SEO, just kind of give a little bit more into that. Like I said, that's a whole nother topic, but SEO, if you build your website, fill in all those little SEO nuggets in the back end, and then walk away and never touch it again, it's not going to climb the ranks like you would hope it would. I wish it was that easy, but it's just not. You really have to put an investment into your digital marketing. So you really need to take time and energy and focus on it to be able to really grow your rankings with Google and have your site climb up. So one thing to keep in mind is that investing means that you want to look at maybe getting all your social media pages put into place. SEO really takes into account like your keywords, and it crawls your website, but it also takes into account how many people are coming to your website. So popularity is a big aspect as well. So really getting traffic to push back to your website, which that happens through social media posts, boosting posts. So basically paying for advertising on your social media to get people back to your website. Google ads is another great one, and claiming your Google listing is really huge to help your SEO. So all of those things, being consistent with all of those things is really what's going to help in the long run. And then not just leaving your website to the shelf once it's created, but maybe an easy one to do is a blog. So once a week, putting out a blog post, sharing that out on your social media, getting that traffic back is really going to help you out. And then really thinking about your strong keywords as you're building your site as well. That really helps with SEO in the long run. So like I said, it's those tools in the back end for the SEO are very important. You definitely want to fill those in, but it's not going to be like a one and done thing. You really want to have to put some time and energy into that, into your SEO. And the last thing for best practices is a clean design. Luckily with a lot of those pre-made themes, they already come as is, so you don't have to do a lot of editing to them. And the nice thing that they really all have is just good white space, and little nuggets of information that they can, people can digest easily. Large blocks of text is never a good thing that no one reads. So video is really good. Short text boxes are fine. Just really trying to get people to notice what you want them to notice. So it'll really take maybe a little bit of some thinking to be able to say, okay, this is everything about my business. Now I need to cram it into 2 or 3 sentences. So it'll kind of push your creative mind there a little bit. But simple is definitely better when it comes to your website. And luckily with, again, those themes, they come with a lot of clean designs already. So, but yeah, those are some best practices to keep in mind when you're doing your website. And I think now is time, if there were any questions or yeah, comments. I think Jonathan, or you were gonna help with those.
Of course, yes, please. So we do have one question. Would you mind sharing those links for all those videos in the chat, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that possible? Okay.
I
so,
could in the chat. It might take me some time. I could also have could we email them out? Could Teresa go ahead and email them out to all the attendees?
Yes, I think we could do that.
That would be great. Yeah, so yeah,
if anybody has any questions, definitely here's the time. Let's see here. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. I appreciate it. Great presentation, a lot of great information in there. I'm going to leave this screen up for a few minutes if everybody wants to maybe take a screenshot and gather the information if they like. And then here in a second, I'm going to switch over and give you a little bit of more information if you would like to contact the Wyoming Women's Business Center or any of the programs that we offer. Here, let me just switch over real quick. Okay. Again, thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you everyone for attending. If you would like to reach out to one of our staff members at the Wyoming Women's Business Center, here is our contact information. Let's see, it looks like we have another question in the chat, and Terry is asking, if one owns domain names, then WordPress.org is the best way to go as they host domains?
So WordPress.org is not, that's just the builder. It's actually the hosting provider that would host your domain for you. So like I said, GoDaddy is one. And it's called SiteGround, and that's what's called a hosting company. And that hosting company is what hosts your website on their servers, but you own the domain, you pay for it and you own it. Versus Wix and Weebly, it's like renting the domain. Now, if you plan on never leaving, that's perfectly fine. It's just if you ever wanted to transfer your site at some point, that's where things might, like if they start falling short of your needs and you need to move on to another platform, that's where it's going to get more tricky because you can't pick up your site and move it. So in a sense, it's like renting on their platform. So I can't say it's, you know, personally as it is the best from my perspective to own your own domain, but it's also not, it's not feasible necessarily for everyone to do that. So these other platforms are just really good tools for people to be able to build their website on their own without having to go through the whole technology, you know, stuff like that, and hiring someone. So there's just really good tools out there for business owners to do this on their end.
We have another question from Lindsay, and she says she's a little confused about the difference between WordPress.org versus WordPress.com. Could you briefly explain the difference, please?
Yeah, so WordPress.com is their own way of being, of their Wix. So you can go on, same thing, and you just make your profile, you can set up a website, and you can basically do everything if you pay for it that WordPress.org can do. WordPress.org is just the software to build your website. So it's not hosting, it's not, you don't buy your URL through them, it's literally just the software, the builder part. It's just the builder. So like I said, if you go to GoDaddy, buy your domain name through them, then you can say, yes, I want to use WordPress to design my site. And that's where they use WordPress.org to use the builder for you to start making your website. So it's a little bit more technological in that sense. Whereas WordPress.com is like Wix. You just go on, make a login, and start building a website right away. So it's just, they have both options, the traditional way and then just a quick builder way. So .com is the way that you can do it like the rest of them with Wix and Weebly. Hopefully that answered your question.
And if anybody in the audience would like to reach out to us, please feel free to, and we will do our best to answer any questions that you might have. If we don't know the answers, then we'll definitely try to find out through all the network partners that we do have, or connect you to the right people. If there aren't any more questions, I'm going to close the presentation. And thank everybody again so much for attending, and thank you, Amanda, for presenting. When this webinar closes, please make sure to complete the survey, and stay safe out there, everybody. Thank you.